Morning conservation crew. It's another Stuart takeover today and we're just doing a local patch. So we're doing Paignton Pier along the coast path all the way to Elberry Cove. So it's a glorious day, although it's still a bit bitter, but let's go and see what we can find. So anyone who's been to Tor Bay recently will notice there's lots of cruise ships in the bay, and they've proven quite popular with tourists and locals alike, and they're quite interesting to see and quite novel and fun to have. But as someone who studies cetaceans, I am a little bit concerned about them, so we've not done any research yet, but hopefully soon we'll be able to get the hydrophone in the bay and just see what sort of levels of noise these vessels are emitting, and to see if there's any potential impacts on the cetaceans which visit and live in and around the bay. Another thing to look out for when you're on the beach is just how much life is actually there. So when you generally look at beaches, they can look quite empty, but a lot of the species have actually evolved to live under the sand or in and around the rock pools. So a good way of just to get an idea of what species are in the local sands, but also further afield off the coast, is just to have a walk along the tide line, and you'll just see the vast amount of diversity with the shells, and you'll probably see dead crabs and lots of seaweed and so forth. So we just come inland now and we're walking past Paignton Harbour. So Paignton Harbour is a place where you can get boat trips and so on. But it's just important, if you do get a wildlife boat trip, you just need to make sure that they follow the WISE scheme. So this just promotes responsible wildlife tourism, and it just protects marine life, especially marine mammals, because the skippers will know how to behave around them. So we're just up on Roundham Point now, and you can just see over where we're walking next, over Godwinton Beach. And we're going to follow the coast path around, just until you might be able to see in the distance there's a bit of green, and our destination is Elberry Cove, just on the other side of that. So we just reached Godwinton Beach now, which is quite a big sandy beach, but it's also got some quite good rock pools on there. One thing we are noticing more and more on our walks though, public toilets closing and changing to pay-to-pee toilets, and they're always
I'm sorry, but peeing is a human right.
Yeah, see, peeing's a human right, but we don't really mind peeing, but they always put them...
Right, it's a necessity.
I
need to pee.
They always put them miles away from where the other toilets were. But also my problem is, you pay to pee, but they're often more dirty or less hygienic, I should say, than the previous ones. Because they like
less space.
Yeah, because they're like single-use toilet type things. There's Laura with a hydro bag thing. Check out Laura's vlog about what's in a backpack if you want to know what she carries around with her.
I tell you what I keep in my backpack this time of year. The nature excursions. 30p so I can have a wee.
So we've left the flat bit of the coast path now, and now we're on the hills as we approach Broadsands, which is always fun to try and talk and walk up a hill. So we're just halfway now between Goodrington and Broadsands, but there's a couple of little coves, there's Oyster Coves and Saltern Cove, which we're not going to go down, but for the people who are interested in rock pooling, definitely go and check them out. Also, sometimes it's quite cool to stay here because this is a railway track, but it's not a commercial one, so they have steam railways going along, so it's quite good to look at the moment. The trains are covered in Christmas lights. Another thing what annoys me about this bit of coast path, and it is a beautiful bit of coast path, but if we're not paying for toilets, we're dodging dog poo, so please just bag it up and put it in the bin. And if you don't want to bag it up, then just flick it off into the bushes, but obviously the bin's the preference. It's always worth just keeping your ears open for birds around this part of the coast path as well. So there's sill buntings towards Broadsands, so you might be able to see some up here, but also we can hear robins now, magpies, blackburns, wrens, and believe it or not, just down there on the cove, a few years ago I saw a kingfisher flying past, and I've seen kingfishers over on Broadsands too. I absolutely hate these stairs. And I'll let Laura go first, just so if she falls I know which ones are the wonky stairs, and I'll try and avoid them ones.
Just intercepting Stu's blog again to say, I really hope we see a seal. If you do ever see a seal, especially in Torbay, you should download the Seal Spotter app. I can't remember exactly what the app's called because it's like an app within an app, but I will put a name here for you so you can download it for free, and then download Seal Spotter app within it, and then whenever you see a seal, take a photo, upload it onto the app, and that really helps the seal project and a student that they're working with for her, I want to say master's dissertation. So we want to support science and support conservation, so download the app now.
So just to put it into context where we are, the orange rock in the background is Roundham Points where we've just been. And then if we follow the coast round, you can now see Brixham Harbour and Berryhead. So Broadsands just down here, and so is Elberry Cove, and that's where we're heading. Well, it's another glorious day, sun's shining, I'm sweating now. I come prepared with gloves and hats and so on, but I just don't think I'll be using them. So I think everyone loves the sun, you can see behind the sun shining. But I am a little concerned because, you know, it's December now, it's just before New Year. And we've seen wildflowers coming back through, lots of green, lots of buds on trees and so on. And although we all enjoy the sun, it's something we perhaps should be a bit concerned about. Laura's just gone all technical on me and said, well, I shouldn't be worried about the sun because obviously the sun's here all the time, which is true. But what I should be worried about is it warming up and being abnormally warm at this time of year. So stand corrected, and I look forward to correcting her in future vlogs. See, correcting myself now. So we've got Broadsands just behind us now, and then this green here, our destination Elberry Cove, is just on the other side of that.
We've just made it to Broadsands. Just a little bit further to go.
So we're just walking across from Broadsands now to Elberry Cove. So it's just a little short walk and then we're at our destination. So one thing you've probably picked up on throughout this vlog is just how closely linked the coast is to nature and human activity. So the two cross over, whether it be the cruise ships, whether it be leaving litter on the coast paths and dog muck. But one other thing we just need to be aware of in Torbay especially, and it's something we probably don't know too much about, or we might be unaware of. Just actually off our coast is some quite extensive seagrass beds. They're below the water, so we can't often see them, but that doesn't mean there's not things we can do to limit our impact on them. There's some good initiatives in the area, especially to do with moorings on boats, so that the boat anchors don't destroy them. But just if you are snorkeling or diving, you should just be aware of where you're putting your feet, where you're putting your hands, because there are some very important habitats and species such as seahorses that actually live just out of sight. So we made it to Elberry Cove, and the weather's changed a bit, so I've put my hat on.
It's freezing!
There's loads of clouds over there. Now normally in Nature Diaries we do circular walks, but not today, so we've got to do exactly the same journey all the way back. But we're probably going to leave you here, so in the famous words of Laura, we'll
See you in the next one!